Okay, so today's stream is going to be on making a side scroller like you would see like a 2D platformer game. And I've made a couple of these on my profile. You'll see them. There's like a wizard tower, a library, and a couple other ones. So I'll show you how I make those. Um, what makes side scroller so much fun is that when you look at like the battle map style, like you would see each one of these corners as like each one of these is a wall, but with facing front facing only one dimension facing forward, these would be the walls, and then this bottom one would be the floor, and this top part would be the roof. Okay, and that's if you're making an interior, but that's generally how you should approach it when you're making a side scroller. Just know that whatever walls, that includes caverns, that's going to be either your walls, your ceiling, or your floor. So that's the basic part, and it's super easy. I'm going to be doing the easiest side scroller to make, in my opinion, because with an interior, you have to like create all the little furniture and all that stuff, and that's a lot to work on. I won't cover that today. I'll make a really easy side scroller for now, which is just going to be like a dungeon or a cavern. And those are actually pretty easy to make, so we'll show how to do that. So I'm going to delete this. We don't really need this. Just showing you the general idea is, you know, again, looking straight down, those are the four walls. The only thing that happens when you switch to side scroll is it doesn't become four walls anymore. Now there's two walls, a floor, and a ceiling. Okay? I'm going to delete this. We'll go into the catalog real quick. If you don't know how to get to the catalog, just press the O key to open up the stamp tool. You can click this or press that F key to open it up. Okay, and I'm going to type in cliff. Yeah, I'm just going to place one down right now. And for those of you who don't know about these kind of cliffs, there's a clip mask on it. So if you want to turn the clip mask off, just click the clip mask option. Now it's not there when you go to add a new stamp. The option is only available after placing it. Okay, so turn off the clip mask. If you don't know what a clip mask is, it's just that there's a clip mask that's on that stamp is picking up the FG layer. So if I was to add some land, press enter, it's going to be whatever the FG texture is. Okay, and I always when I'm making a side scroller, I generally like to have my whole screen be black. So you just go to color from the brush tool, press that B key, click color, click black, quick fill the whole screen, just go across like this. Make sure it's set to BG, that's one key for FG, two key for BG, press enter, and then the whole background, that BG layer will be black. The reason why I like it black is because one, it's easier to put things together without complex artifacts or texture that's underneath what you're trying to put together. So a pure black screen allows a easy and crisp kind of assembling area for you to put things together. Also, normally with interiors, when doing side scrollers, if you're doing like a cavern or an interior, having your background all black also makes it easier, because if you're doing an interior, you would expect the exterior to be dark and the interior to be lit up, unless you want to change the style. I'm not going to worry about that. So let's just do the cavern, and we're going to take these pieces and turn off the clip mask. And I think I might have to end up doing that for almost every single piece. Let me check. Yeah, it doesn't. Option's not there. So just like when you're making a top-down cavern for a dungeon map, you're going to be doing the same thing. You're just going to be piecing together a bunch of stuff. First, I'm going to make a quick little guide of what I want it to look like. So when I think of a cavern or a cave dungeon, I usually think of like a couple rooms instead of just one. Like an entrance room that you start at. Let me make that just a bit bigger, kind of hard to see there. There we go. Think of a little bit of pre-planning. You have like your starter room, a tunnel that maybe goes to another room, a one that goes down here to another room, and then don't forget you always have to have that boss room, right? Where that big baddie's going to be. So you'll have that big boss room. So you've got about 4 rooms here. And this is the general layout that I'm going to go with. If someone else has a better design, let me know. But I'm just trying to keep it simple. You could do very complex stuff if you wanted to. And it doesn't have to be this simple. You could say it goes down like this. And then maybe it goes down like this. A little more complex, okay? So it's whichever way you want to do it. So this is just a guide that I have. I'm just going to group it all like this. This is the guide that I'm going to be using. Just going to make it a little bit bigger. Any questions so far? Did I explain the general setup so far, or is anyone having any troubles? Nope, don't think so. Okay, no questions. Let me also put myself in Stream Chat 1 so I can see if people have questions. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and piece together our cavern. I'm also going to make sure this is on a layer -5 below every single thing, and I'm also going to drop the opacity of it. Okay, and then make sure that cliff is set to layer 1. Okay, I'm just going to use this as a general outline, and what you're going to end up doing is holding down that Alt key and just shift through the different pieces that you want to use. Okay, like this. Let's keep going. And then once you have like a whole bunch already, whoa, that looked like a bug to me. I'll have to look into fixing that. Still doing that. Other people are also experiencing that with stamp sets. Okay. Yeah, I'm assuming so. That's not good. Okay. We'll make the first room. Go right here like this. And once you have like a whole bunch already, then you can just go ahead and select them all except for that grid. Let's turn this group. Just lock it so I don't accidentally select it. Select all, turn clipping mask off, and you can copy and paste. And what's great about it is you can rotate and change things around. So you want to say, I don't want to have that anymore. I'm going to flip this. Once you have like a couple on the map, this includes walls, caverns, whatever, even for battle maps. If you put a bunch already on the map, then you have like a palette to work with, and then you can just copy, paste, rotate, and switch things around. It's much quicker, at least in my opinion. Do this. Oh, you know, let's see here. Okay, put this one over here. And I think I'm going to switch and change this one like this. Kick this down. Let's say right there should be good. Okay. Make sure I got it right. There we go. We're going to leave this opening so it goes down. We can put like an elevator there. We can put like maybe just a pit where you fall. So it's whatever. Not sure quite yet. Okay. This is time consuming. Absolutely. I'm going to say right now that side scrollers, when you're putting them together, it is not a quick process. It's unfortunately pretty slow. Oopsie, didn't mean to do that. Connect these. I'm not going to worry about fixing that quite yet. Just want to leave enough room. Let's go with that one. It is so time consuming. Okay, there. And then we can turn all the clipping masks off. Don't need them. And we're putting together the skeleton for everything. And then once you're done with that, we'll move on to the next part, which is kind of using the mask tool to designate what is background and foreground so that painting will be easier. So we'll make sure to do that. Let's go ahead and flip this like this, goes down. Okay, so that first part's done, and I can copy and paste a bunch of these. Let's turn the clip masks off. Let's copy and paste this. There we go. Okay, we'll kind of use this as the bottom part. Keep going, and just remember that when you're doing it, just pretend as if you're making a top-down cave. That's how easy it is to do a side-scroller cave. Just make your normal top-down cave system out of the cliffs, and then from there you'll have to start putting together pieces to force the user's eye, to force them to the front perspective, because for now it just looks kind of top down. And that part is the fun part, is tricking your viewers into believing in something that isn't, you know what I mean? Because obviously we don't have an option to make side scrollers, so when you look at it, it's like, oh, weird. So you have to force your viewer to be like, oh wow, okay, this is not top down. And so we'll put together a bunch of stamps to force that perspective. Okay. Almost. Thanks for the patience. Takes a few moments to kind of put all these together. Oh, did it again. You buy it. What is up with that? No, no, no. Okay, we're almost there. It's just taking a minute. Let's see. Ooh, we're getting close. Almost there. That won't do. That will. Okay. And then we'll select everything. Turn off all the clipping masks. I wish there was a way to, maybe there's a way to fix that where we can turn off all the clipping masks before placing, because that's kind of a pain. So now that we put that part together, you can delete the guide. You don't need it no more. And then after that, you want to fill in the interior part of the cave with the add mode of the mask tool, and that's because you want to paint it separately. And so I'm just going to go with a small brush at first, or small enough. And we might have to make sure you turn off all mask effects. Let's go with that add mode, go along the edge. Don't go over like this, okay? Don't do that. Make sure you stay in. Whoa. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay, hold on a sec. There we go. Okay, so we're going to fill in with the add mode. And I like to start on the edges first. Oopsie, I've got a spot there, my bad. What I like to do is fill it in with the edge first. Oopsie, that's subtract. What am I doing? And you can fill it in with a little bit more vigor. Once you've got the edges done, you're gonna fill up the whole thing. In fact, I'm just gonna fill it up real quick instead of trying to. Oopsie, I think I see a piece that doesn't belong there. What's this? Naughty piece. Okay, we're going to fill in the whole thing, and then we'll pick a texture that we want to be the background, and it's just your base texture. I always do this. I pick a texture that looks good as the background in the cavern, not the negative black space. And then you pick a texture that you don't mind painting over, so some kind of gray texture and probably a darker one, because we're making the far back side of the cavern walls. So maybe like a dark gray, because these cavern walls are kind of a light gray. So a dark gray means that the walls will pop out more, or not necessarily the walls, but the cliff stamps will pop out more. So that's nice. We'll go around this edge here. And I just want to let everyone know that if people miss this from now on, and I mentioned this in the chat, but all Discord streams will be recorded from now on, and then they'll be edited and then put on YouTube on Thursday of that same week. So you can do that. I want to make sure everyone knows that little announcement. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so I can just do this quick. Then I have to go back and kind of clean up the mistakes that I made in here. Here. Just kind of clean up. Okay. Once you've done that, now remember, this is the FG layer. This part right here is FG. If you want, just make sure you put not Facebook. Just put FG. If you need a reminder, I don't think you will, but you'll remember. And then is to go to your brush tool, B key, F key, and you're gonna have to go through the different textures that you want to use. I kind of like this dark obsidian kind of color. It's got this nice purple to it. Switch to FG, and let's just go ahead and go all the way across like this so the whole thing gets covered. Press enter. Oopsie, not color, my bad. Let's try it again. There we go. All right, let's take a look at it. Yep, I kind of like that. That looks good. We're at 184 changes. I'm going to save. Remember, try to save more often than not. 100 changes or so is usually what I like to do, unless you're a risk taker, and that's perfectly okay. I'm just going to call this side scroll or cavern. Okay. So that first step is done, where you've done the that negative black space with the color, and then add your caverns, your kind of your walls. And what I like to do also is then just go ahead and select all of them and then group and make sure to name them. Just call them cliffs or cavern walls, whatever it is you want to call them. It doesn't really matter. Cliffs, walls, but just make sure you label it. And as always, after you've grouped it, make sure to also label it and then to lock it. So because if you're trying to select something on the map, you're probably going to accidentally select the whole group because it's so huge. It's just massive, right? So make sure you do that. And so now what we have to do is make sure that we create what I like to do next is create a floor. Okay, and I'm going to start in one room instead of doing every single one. And the reason why I start with the first one room is so that I get a general idea of what I want the theme to be within it. So this first room is going to be here. And the first thing I like to make is like a flat floor for you to walk on. That includes stairs, tiers, whatever. And that can be made of wood, stone, whatever you want. Okay, we'll go to Stamp Tool, O key, F key. And I like to use walls for my kind of floor because the walls are flat, they look nice. So you have this nice stone floor. Of course, you want to rotate it 90 degrees. And this is that part where you have to decide scale and everything. So make sure it's not like absolutely massive, because if it's this big and your character is only like however tall, they're going to hit their head, right? So when you start placing your your floor, think carefully about where you want, how big you want it to be and where you want it to be. So let's also take it down a layer so it's below the cliff. Like this. We'll make this first section. Okay, like this. And make sure that we turn off, I think it's set to layer. Let me just check here. It's set to layer, yes. Okay. Go like this. It's set to layers. Go to object instead. And what we're going to do is create the illusion of kind of depth. So by doing this, let's go with 0 first. Take everything back to 0 and set this to, let's say, 3. Okay. Now that you have this first part, we want to create some depth. So let's put a shadow below it. So use that vertical offset, bring the shadow down. And what that does is it creates this illusion that there's a shadow underneath, and then it kind of looks like there's some depth and it pops out. Okay. All right. Now after you've done that, I also like to put on something that stabilizes this. So if I'm going to have it this big rock floor like this, it's going to need something to kind of keep it hold up. So there are some options. Make sure that this part right here doesn't go out like this, and you might want to bring it down another layer so it's underneath, so that the shadow is affected by it, and then just keep adding in a couple like this. If it's too much, just put it up behind here. Obviously, you can go about this far. Okay. And let's make sure we space them out. And then we also want to add in, I really like to add in arches, because this is what you'd need for support. So we'll add in an arch like this, add in another one, and then one more like this. Okay. All right. And then it looks like we're going to have to add in another pillar right here. Let's just select this so it's at the right size. Go back, select this one. Okay. All right, so now you have this nice structure held up. You have this nice arches holding up this structure. And we can even change it even more if you want to add a flatter surface. You could type in concrete wall. I do this I think almost all my floors are somewhat like this, but let's just go like this. Set it up a layer, and you can put it on top like this. And it kind of has this illusion of a flat kind of surface that you can run on top of. Go like this. Okay. And if you want to, you can make it a whole flat surface by just adding these little parts that hide this if you want. Or if you want it to look like there's tiled slabs, then you don't have to do that. There we go. Put all these on. So this is like the general idea for the wall space. Next part is to also add some kind of door. Like, how did this person get here? Should there be a front-facing door with some stairs that lead to this platform? And I think that's really the best way to go. And there's all different types of ways you can go about it. I'm just going to do a simple arched door, and I'm going to use a wall piece of some kind. And there's like a whole bunch of options. You can do like this metal wall here. These are crypt walls. Let's just use this one. And this is the part where you really get to decide the size of your character, like scale, because you're working with a door. So keep this part in mind when you're working on it. Let's bring it down right about here. So your character is about that big. We might want to scale this down a little bit more. It might be still too big. About this size looks good. Yeah, I think that looks about good. And I don't want it to be one arch above another arch. So let's put it, offset it from the arches underneath. Okay, and we're also going to want to fill in this section with the color black, because this is going to lead to nowhere. So I'm just going to fill it in, get rid of that softness. And there is the doorway. And let's add in some stairs. Again, top-down stairs work just fine because it's front-facing one dimension, just like top-down is one dimension, showing only one face. So that works out great. Let's just check out, let's say these stone stairs right here. Okay. All right, and we have to be careful about the size of the stairs. Let's see here, put one here. Let's put it down below like this. Put two down, put another one together like this. And then we're gonna do one more. Copy, paste, put it behind these ones like this. And then I'm gonna drop the brightness because what we're gonna do is make it look like it's fading off into darkness. We'll even bring this down one more like this, okay. All right, let's do one more. Actually, let's use, I think that should be okay. All right, so that's that next part. So let's go ahead and save 65 changes. Any questions so far? Speak up or forever hold your peace. Oh, thank you, Cheryl, by the way, for posting in-stream announcements. Monday mornings, I'm not generally at my best. Okay, so we'll get to texturing later. Let's just do with the stamps part. But normally I would want to blend in this door with a texture so it looks like it's not just free floating. Let's just group it first, and we're going to call this door or entrance. Let's actually call it entrance because it is the entrance. Ebtris. Ebtris. Everyone, let's enter through the Ebtris. Yes. Awesome. And then also, I think I'm going to not worry about this. I'll leave these free flowing around. So we have this. And what else should we have? Maybe in the intro. When I think of like the beginning cave, it's kind of nothing complex. There's not a lot of baddies running around. Maybe we should do like crystals or something. I think crystals might be a cool idea. Let's go with search all styles. And I think if I type in crystals, there's a whole bunch of options. Hello, welcome. I am glad that you are here. Oh, great. Well, it's also being recorded, by the way. So anything that you missed, I will be sure to post these recorded Discords on Thursday on YouTube. So anything you missed, you can catch it. No problem. Right now, we're just making a side scroller, and we're making the first room, which is that entrance room where you walk in. And then we're just going to make all the flooring for everything, and then we'll get to the details and stuff that I like to do. So we're just starting with that first entrance room where you came in, and we're going to decorate it. We're going to type in crystals. One nice thing about making side scrollers is that you don't have to limit yourself to just one particular style, because there is no dedicated side scroller style. You can just go through all the various styles and put stuff down. Just be careful, because as you know, some styles have way thicker line art and style and rendering, and so it can look really weird if you don't do it right. Let's go with blue crystals. I think blue might go better with this, and I want to make sure that they're on the right layer, so make sure they're up a layer, and we're going to have them just sticking out like this. So we'll put a bunch down. Let's just scroll through, look at our options. One there, and make sure to rotate them so that they're facing the right way. Course. Let's put one there. Oh, that one's facing this way, so I'll push it that way. This is the kind of the fun part. You get to put some crystals and stuff, and make sure that you have one, like a big one that's kind of overlapping in the front. Okay, like this, because it's nice to add depth. If you put a crystal like this, now you've got some nice depth there, so that's really nice to add in. Let's just add in a couple more. Put one right here, maybe. I think this should work. Oopsie, I just noticed this might be facing the wrong way. I don't know, we'll see. Okay, let's scale this down a little bit more. There we go. Okay, so that first cave, and we'll make sure to add in lighting and all that stuff. Let's add in let's add in some smaller crystals. So once you've got the big ones in, make them a little bit smaller. And then this way you can start putting in really small ones. Because if you just have a bunch of really big ones, it looks odd. These small ones, it's that monotony of size issue. In streams in the past, I've shown that you try to put in big pieces first, whether it's a bush or a tree, and then scale them down, or a medium size, and then add in a smaller one. So this kind of just makes it look more natural, because there's always going to be a varying sizes of plants, stalagmites, stalactites, crystals, whatever it might be, right? And so make sure you add in some small ones too, to kind of break up that transition. Put one right here too. I think that should look good. Let's take a step back. Yep, so that first room is kind of bright blue. It's got crystals going on. It's nicely lit up. I think it's going to work. I think this might work. Okay. You should add some torches on either side of the door, says the musical rogue. Absolutely, I agree. And again, top-down torches will work just fine for that. You just type in torch. Boom, pop in. And let's see here. About this should look good right there. So we have a torch there. And we're going to want to do in some texturing. Let me just, because you already know about adding a lot of stamps, let's do a quick texture idea that I do. So whenever I have a door or something connected to a wall in a cavern, I like to add in some kind of texturing to make sure that the door blends in properly with the wall, because this looks really weird. You'd expect some more stonework around the edges of the frame and kind of around it. And so you go to that texture catalog and you can pick whatever stone you want. It can be like this one. It could be this one, this cobblestone texture. You're going to have to rotate it, of course. So just go to that advanced settings, go to rotation, type in 90. And that doesn't even look like that's right either. Let's go up a couple. 88 degrees. Okay, make sure it's set to FG. And one thing, and we're going to have to repaint the inside of this door, by the way. So just keep that in mind. We want to resize it to the stones are fairly big. It's set to FG. And I'm going to drop the opacity quite a bit. Just so I can kind of see what it looks like. Let's go ahead and just add in a little bit. So some stonework like this. And you can even put it along the floor as well. So add in this kind of stonework. If it's too big, then just remove it and make it smaller if you want. But for now, this should do. And you're going to make it to where this texture is most opaque, most bright, with the most opacity is going to be around the frame. Okay? And don't forget, again, along the edge of the floor, because that just looks nice when you have a little bit of stonework on the edge of the floor. And you can even put in a little bit down here if you want. That's okay. So you kind of have some stonework here like this. So that looks nice. So there's a nice transitioning there. Add in, make sure this has got, put this somewhere where there's stonework. Okay. And let's also go and paint in the inside of the door black, just in case I accidentally got some of my stonework in the door, which I would expect to. Okay. Let's take a step back. Oh, this first room is looking pretty nice. I'm enjoying it. We can also add some fun stuff to it. Like you can put like a skull or something. Like you can type in skull. You want to decorate the, what's called the, I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's a I think it's the capstone or the stone that's at the top that kind of holds the two arch pieces together. So we can just take a skull and probably just put it on here like this. Also, if you have like a boss room that is not visible and it's a separate room or a separate map, sometimes you can mark your doors with a skull or something to represent like there's something bad in here. Okay, I'm just going to put a skull here for some decoration so that it looks nice. There we go. Yep, I kind of like that entrance. Looks good so far. Also, and we'll do another section down here where the floor will be broken up and we'll add in some pits and stuff. So for now, this looks pretty good. We should probably add in a light source for that. And should we use a different color for the torch? What do you think? Oop, keystone, Jeremy. Thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate the keystone. Much appreciated. Yeah, so what color? Should we change it to the torch to a different color. Maybe make it like purple or green. Like what? We'll think about complementary colors. We have these blue crystals. So what color blue goes well? I think yellow does actually. So that actually works pretty good. Could do that. I'm just gonna boost the saturation up so that yellow pops out so much more. And we'll type in light. And as with all of my light sources, layer 5, start with a small one that goes right over the light source, and then zoom and make a larger one that goes over like this. And remember, it has to be on the right layer. Okay, let's go like this. So you have this nice light source here, and I think these walls accidentally have a shadow on it. Let me check. Yeah, I think these have layer shadows. So let's go with object. And I'm just going to set these to 0. And to make these wall pieces pop out a little bit more, we'll add a little bit of shadow around the edge like this. So that wall pops out. Just a little bit of black shadow around that edge. If it's not enough, then you can paint a little shadow around there. Just make sure your softness is up and that your opacity is down. So go like this along this edge. You can add a little bit of black right here, and that will kind of make the door frame pop out a little bit more, and that looks nice. Just like you're doing with the battle maps. You know, you're adding a little bit of ambient occlusion, shall we say. Okay, so now that door pops out. 49 changes, we're doing fine. I think that looks good so far. That first entrance room looks nice. Also like to add sparks, and I like to use the spark as kind of the, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of the debris. That's a shark, not a spark. I like to use sparks as kind of like particulates floating in the air, and you can kind of see them a little bit. I like to drop down the opacity like this, and then also we want to take all these crystals. We're going to select all from the set. There's a quick trick. Remember, select one. Hamburger menu, select all from stamp set, select them all, go to object, shadow. And we're going to add a little bit of shadow or a little bit of glow by adding in a blue shadow to these crystals so they look like they're glowing a little bit more, as you would kind of expect. Okay. So this, I'd say this first part is kind of done, and the next part is to kind of create. We can add more details to this later. Let's just do the general layout for each room. So once you've kind of finished a room or you decided to leave a room and connect to another, make sure that you use the same stamps. So there's like a couple of ways you can go about this. You can create like a ramp that just goes straight down, or you can create stairs. It depends on which way you want to go about it, or just they have to jump down. So it's really up to you how you want to go about that. I like, there's so many different varying ways to go about it. So I think for this one, we'll have it to where you just jump off onto a platform down to here like this. We're not going to make the first part ridiculously difficult. I don't know if anyone's played like Mega Man, but oh man, Mega Man is so rough. They always give you like the hardest stuff to run across. You're like, wait a minute. So yeah, that's the tough one. Okay, let's take this one down like this. Create this next part, and like I said, you just kind of drop down onto this flooring. We're not going to add a whole lot of detail to this section right here. So you run off, land down on here, and then go into here, and then we'll put in a theme in each one. We can stick with that, putting in kind of some pillars for this thing. Let's put one right here, and then one right here. And I'm not going to worry about archways or anything. So we'll just put archways here, because when the first room, in my opinion, the first room is the room that's going to be like where your player ends up. And so you want the first room to leave an impression. You want it to pop out a little bit. So making sure that your first room has some bright colors, some contrast and things like that, that will make it look so much nicer. And I just noticed a boo-boo I did with the cliffs right here. My bad. Where is that entrance? No. Where did that one go? Let's just go with unlock everything, and I'll select the whole thing. Right here I used the wrong piece, facing the wrong way. That was silly of me, so I have to fix that real quick. Go like this, Okay. And I think I did the same thing to right here as well. I have to flip this around. That's my bad. Oopsie. There we go. Like that. Okay. And I'll have to fix that as well. Oopsie. My bad. Okay. I think that looks better. Okay. And I'm also going to add another piece sticking out right here, because this is, again, just adds in another sense of depth. And I might want to consider using a different one. I don't know. Having the same one might not be a good idea. I'm not sure. Should be okay, I think. We won't worry about it. How could you add a sparkle to a crystal? How would you do that so it shows better? Would stamps be better? So a sparkle for a crystal? Well, for these ones, I was going to use this texture right here. It's called Fey Lights. And they just got released. So this blue Fey Light might work pretty well. Let's just go ahead and apply some of it. Let's put it up at a higher, so you can kind of see it. So you have some nice sparkle like that. I think that kind of works. I might have to increase the brightness just a bit more, and maybe even change the hue to fit that kind of blue too. Let's resize it. So there we go. And then let's do that, 35. And just where the crystals are, I'm going to add these kind of sparkles. Let's go up just a little bit more. 48 should be enough. So add some sparkle like this. You can even add it down here and in front right here. Okay. So you have that. 101 changes. We can keep going. Yeah, that would be my suggestion. I appreciate you asking that. And you can also use spells. I absolutely agree. That's a good idea. Good call. Okay. Again, like I said, that first room, you want that first room to pop out. That's just super important, because that's the first thing that the player, the viewer, is going to see. So they're going to be like, ooh, this first room is cool. I'm excited. I'm going to go explore the rest of the cave system. Okay. So you run off this platform, run onto here, and we'll keep going. Let's add in just a couple crystals, and then we'll have the crystals fade away, and the next room won't have any crystals in it at all. We'll add a different theme. So that first theme of the room is kind of crystals. Okay, and we want to also maybe add something in here in the corner. We'll go to that later with some details. Let's just finish with these crystals, kind of trailing off one right here like this. And then again, you want to do that overlap thing. So let's take another one and have one overlapping some of your wall, some of your floor. And let's add in one more right here, a small one, I think should be okay. Itty bitty. Actually, let's add it over here. Let's see, what am I doing? One more right here should be okay, I think. There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to copy and paste all of these floor pieces that I have. So I'm going to copy and paste. Just going to get rid of the crystal parts. Copy, paste, so that I have, oopsie, that's not what I wanted. I forgot to lock the cavern walls. See, this is why you make sure you do that. Copy, paste, there we go. I can just delete these pieces and put the next part going down across like this. And then let's also add in, oopsie, control, copy, paste. I can tell you right now, copying and paste is going to be your best friend. Okay, delete these pieces. Copy, paste. You're going to have to just piece these together. Oh, let's flip that actually. That'd be better. Okay, and then put some floor right here as well. And then one thing I like to make is a platforms that hover. And with the hovering platforms, you can add like a little ball on the end. I've done this with quite a few of mine already, but it acts like something for like a hook shot to be attached to. So I'll show you that in a second. Let me just first make sure that I have this right. One sec. And I'm going to have it overlapping just a little bit, going across. And these are platforms that you can jump on top of. So it looks like this. You have a platform up here, and then I like to use knots. If you just type in K-N-O-T, rope knots pop up. There's this one right here. Get it nice and big first. You can see what it looks like. And then I like to drop the saturation down to 0 because it's at it might not be at a color you want it to. size it where you want it, and then place it on the edge like this. And this is like basically a little spot where if you have like a hook shot, some kind of item that allows you to grab it, jump on top, then that is what those little balls are for. They act like a little hook shot. And I'm going to group that as well and just call it a platform. And it's one platform. And we'll call it M platform because it's a medium platform. And we'll also make small ones and big ones. So this is kind of a medium-sized platform. We'll put it up here. Okay, and there's a pit that just drops down here like this. And we're just going to say it's a drop. And maybe we can put in some water at the bottom so that when you fall into the water, you safely fall down. So we'll have to change up this a little bit to where there's a groove, a little bit more of a bowl shape at the bottom, so where that there is some, we can put some water in. I'm just going to go ahead and check chat. Any other questions? Edward Elfric says, or Felric, I'm sorry. I often use spells instead of the texture. I just don't know what one was better. It can be hard to decide at times. Also, I recently watched Labyrinth and everything sparkles in that movie. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, the Labyrinth. Isn't that David Bowie? Bowie's in space. I don't know if anyone's heard of this Kiwi band called The Flight of the Conchords, and they have a great song. Oh, it's so good. Oh yeah, I love The Labyrinth. It's such a great movie. But you guys have got to look up this Kiwi band called Flight of the Conchords, and they have this song making fun of Bowie. And don't worry, I love David Bowie. Bowie's awesome. But go listen to Flight of the Conchords. If you're looking for irreverent, funny humor, that's where you're going to find it. Love Flight of the Conchords. Yeah, I love this movie. I just have to go 100% to this because it's so true. Okay, I better not waste any more time. We still have a lot more to go. Let's quickly change up the cavern walls to where I have kind of more of a pit to put some water. So we're going to curve it up like this. There we go. And then that way there's a way to get some water in. Make sure there's enough. I think that should do. Okay. Now I have to try to connect these pieces. Yay. Let's do that. And I think I have to redo some things as well. But whenever you adjust the cavern walls, you have to go with that mask tool and subtract kind of the pieces. Subtract whatever part's hanging out because you've changed it, right? So you have to change the mask as well. Okay, and we're going to add water down here. And there's a couple ways that I like to go about doing this. One thing you can do is just texture it in and create like a water line. So you can just go to your textures. I think Faye has a nice Faye water one, kind of bright, this bright blue. Let's drop the opacity down and just do soft. No soft brush whatsoever. And I'm just going to go like this and just see how it looks at first. And yeah, it's okay. We're going to go over it a little bit, and that's all right. So there's the water, and then we're going to have to make sure to put in this as well. So go over this. Now, I thought I turned the clipping masks off. Maybe it's just a part of it. You have no choice. Okay. So we just want to make sure that blue isn't popping up on that. And then the other thing I like to do to show depth is once you've added in that, go back into Cavern Walls and just take a couple of these, copy, paste, bring them back so they're underneath like this. And you might have to change them up a little bit, but change that blend mode to luminosity. And it will kind of look like you've added some of the floor underneath is underwater. So you've done that trick. A lot of people know the luminosity blend mode trick. Works really well. We'll go like this. And I think too, it should probably be, I don't know, let's make sure I got the right one selected. I think these two should also probably drop the contrast down. Oopsie, I forgot. Oopsie, I think I might have done the wrong one. Let me check. Yep, of course, always doing the wrong one. Drop that contrast down, and I even might want to drop the brightness down because it's farther into the water there. There we go. So now you have kind of this illusion of being underwater, and the water is flat, so we'll make sure to change that up. Let's go with maybe doing the path trick. It might not work because, let The problem that I have with this is that it's a really large area in the path. Well, that's actually pretty big. It might work. Let's test it out. I'm just going to fill in this whole section right here with the path. Like this, if it'll work. The problem with the path is that sometimes it has the ability to go kind of cattywampus a little bit, because it goes kind of crazy. And so you have to be very careful when you do it. Normally, I'd recommend doing this much smaller, but this is a very custom shape. So we'll see if I can get this to work. You just have to be very careful about this. I've been begging to try to get this bug fixed, but because the path tool is not normally used this way, I don't know. We'll see. I like to just do sections. Ooh, be so careful. Otherwise I have to do it all over again. I can't tell you how fun that is. Okay. Oh, come on, you can do it. Ooh, close. This is going to be time consuming. Please forgive me. Right, exactly. Oh, it's not on dash though. It's a straight line. You're saying it's trying to act like a dash line, even though it's not set to dash? Mm-hmm. Hmm. I'll have to ask the developers about that. That's a good observation. I don't really know. So I will look into that. I'm glad you mentioned that. I mean, there's all kinds of things I would just like to see. Straight lines for the path tool. I'd also like to see you can go larger than size 5. Like go to like huge sizes. That would be also be really nice. Oh, I think I might actually do this. Watch me mix up the last stroke though. Just knowing my luck, right? Okay. Oh, I did miss a spot, but that's okay. From here, you have to change the blend mode, and you can change it to whatever one you want. So you'll see that it interacts with it, so that you get that nice kind of feel to it. Let's just go pick the one we want. Let me know if anyone looks interesting to you. There's color. I don't really care for that one. It's a bit bright. Saturation, that looks cool, but doesn't make any sense. Exclusion. Ooh, whoa, that's trippy. What kind of water is that? I don't want to know what happens in there. What happened here? Ooh, that's trippy. One second, let me just look at that. Ooh, that's trip. I kind of like that. I know it looks kind of weird, but I think that's kind of trippy. Is anyone against this? Are you against this option? Should we go with a different blend mode? Please let me know. Also, I gotta turn that shadow off. Let's go with a light blue, dark blue, black. You know, I think black actually works okay. If no one has any issues, oh, perfect. Okay. So next thing I like to do is to also use those fey lights and just put them on the top. Use white, and then make sure you have your softness turned off, and make sure that you have enough room to do one stroke all the way across. So let's just go up to 5, and just on the top like this. Oopsie. Ooh, I see. It's at a different blend mode. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Ooh, that's kind of cool. So I'll have to do something different. That'll be kind of fun. This will be exciting. That looks like that won't work. I won't have to do that, but we're gonna keep that because I kind of like this. It's kind of crazy. Like, where does this water come from? So you jump down, go in here. Let's go ahead and work on the next room. We'll just keep going. I only have about another hour and 10 minutes left, so let's just continue adding more pieces. Just keep going. Go one like this, and then I'm gonna have like a boss. And I think what might be cool is having like a platform that goes out like this a little bit, and then the monster will be coming out of like maybe a pit right here somewhere, so we'll have to make that. So let me just go over and just see what I have. Front entrance, going down, some platforms, fall into the water, and then go into the boss chamber. Okay, let's save real quick. Ooh, it's a 2D map. Yes, it does. I feel like paired with the crystals means that everything needs to be glowy in this cave. Yeah, I think I kind of agree with that. Welcome, Renly. Yeah, it's a two-dimensional side scroller. That's what we're kind of making right now, just for fun. Okay, and then we want to also, again, just kind of add in all those pillar pieces to kind of keep it together. Let's go with this one. I'm not going to bother, again, don't bother with worrying about adding in the arches. That was just to make this first room pop out, right? Because you want that first room to pop out. Don't worry about the other rooms popping out. Though I do recommend adding one epic thing to each room. So like in this first room, you have a lot of crystals, this kind of nice, pleasant design you walk into. We should put something in this room that's going to pop out. This water is super bright, so it kind of pops out. And then obviously the boss room is going to be epic because it's a boss room. What do you expect, right? Ooh, a cage sunk inside with a skeleton in it. Yeah, man, I want to start doing 2D. And cool to see someone else doing it. Thank you. Appreciate that. Awesome. Yeah, this is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Okay. Let's take a look. We can also change the crystals color. If we end up not liking this color, you can change it to purple. Just do some ominous stuff there. We'll get to that. I want to do... I want to change up this one a little bit to where it looks like the floor is kind of broken up. And the way that I go about that is just rotating just a little bit like this. And what this is, it looks like the floor has kind of like been busted up. So this little tactic works kind of nice. Throw in another piece like this. And I kind of like doing this. This always looks nice to me. And then we'll put a flat piece like this. And maybe even have some parts where there's some parts missing, like right here. We can make this even smaller. There we go. Okay, so it looks like you have a broken up piece like this. And because this is kind of a boss section, let's make sure that this room is kind of epic. So let's add in a nice kind of platform that goes out. And I don't know about making what kind of boss to add in yet. Maybe some kind of like a giant tentacle creature or something, or maybe an undead creature. Maybe you guys can discuss and debate what you think might look nice. Okay, let's go ahead and add in these pieces here. Okay, I'm gonna make sure that's down a layer. There we go. Okay, there we go. You know, I don't really care for that. Let's just add in regular pieces. We'll put more detailed stuff in later. Let's just put this in. And then also maybe a section of it that collapsed and fell down would look kind of nice. So this part of the platform broke off and it's got the pieces everywhere. Let's make sure I got the right size. And let's just have these pieces kind of broken like this. They kind of fell off. And let's even put some in the front so it looks like they broke off. And some of them should be just a teeny bit smaller because they're all around the same size. And that looks really weird, so we'll fix that. Some small pieces here, because this is all rubble, like it just fell down and broke. Okay, so that collapsed. That's what we got. That looks nice. Let's further emphasize like that there's been a collapse by adding in a part of the archway that's kind of incomplete, and then we'll add in a broken archway piece like this. No, that doesn't look good. Maybe put it over here. Let's put it in the background. Like this, okay. And since it's in the background, I definitely recommend that you make it darker. Anything that you have in the foreground that's closest to you, you're gonna have a bit brighter. Anything that's gonna be in the background, you wanna make it just a little bit darker, okay? And that way it kind of looks like it's in the background, okay? Let's also add in those pieces like this and make it kind of look like it's broken. Okay, let's put a couple pieces there, piece here. All right, so this part looks like it collapsed and it fell down, and we also want to add in some pieces here. Of course, don't forget to do that. Okay, and don't forget about evening out the spaces just a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect, so, but enough is, at least some forethought should go into it. Okay, so you got that piece. This collapses. You've got this on the ground right here. Got some water here. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and save it. 89 changes. Anyone got any suggestions about what should be maybe in the in the boss room? Let me check stream chat real quick. For sure, crawl on the walls like an insect. Hello, Shokev. I'm glad that you're here. Everyone's slowly. My stream is slowly building. Bringing you in. Okay, let's take a look. I just want to do some review here. Don't forget, if you got any ideas, let me know about what should be in this room. My suggestion was going to be, like, again, some giant tentacle creature, or you can add in some environmental elements that a creature that runs around instead of is stationary. I mean, I am a big fan of giant boss battles instead of the small little tiny bosses. That's just me. That's a a personal preference for me, but I like giant big bosses, so I'll make kind of this giant creature in this cave. It's going to be kind of stationary. Being so big, there's not much room to maneuver around. I'm also going to add in some arches because as we're leading into this kind of important section, we kind of want some emphasis on this room. So let's go ahead and add in the arches. And I'm going to also make this a little bit darker. There we go, like this. Add another one here like this. This already tells me that I have to move my piece over like this. Take it over, there we go. Yeah, so far so good. I'm liking it so far. There we go. Okay. Let's also add in another section. There also needs to be an exit. And so if you're going to have an exit, I like to put it at the end, obviously where the boss room is. So let's finish this section right here, and you'll have to walk across and get to, let's say, there's a door or an entrance right here that leads outward. Okay, so you have to add in a exit, and let's say that's kind of long. I'm sorry? Wait, say that one more time. Your mic is really... Right. Okay. Oopsie. I can kind of see that wall piece sticking out a little bit. Oops. Don't want to do that. Oh, shoot. Dang. Don't want that popping out, but it is there. Might have to add something else, maybe. I'm not sure. You could just add a door, too, if you want, just like we did with the entrance. There's a little door. Okay. Honestly, I think kind of it would be nice to have an extension of the bridge like this, but the problem now is I have to redo some of this cliff wall right here because this sticks out and it kind of doesn't look like there's a way out from there. So we'll have to, again, kind of select the whole thing. So let's go back, open up that right panel, unlock everything, open this up, and I'll have to readjust this wall. Unfortunately, and of course, whenever you readjust the wall, you will have to readjust the mask tool, of course. Okay, let's see here. Let's bring this up and see if I can get a flatter piece to work. Okay, and just take that mask tool, take the add mode, and just fill it in the spot that you missed, because you're using the mask tool as a way to paint your cavern walls differently from right here. Okay, so we're going to do that. So let's just go ahead and move this piece. Oopsie, make sure I, again, lock this. I don't want this to be here. So lock cavern walls, select all this, goes across. And I'm going to actually use the grid tool to line up. So this is where the top of it is, so that this piece going across needs to obviously be right about there. Let's just take a look. Yep, about there. Turn off that grid. There we go, so now go across. And then we'll have to add in the pillars or the arches. So we'll add in an arch right here. Okay, and I am going to also drop the brightness down and turn off that layer shadow. I don't want that there. All right, so this is kind of the other side, and this is where our, basically where our monster is going to be in this section right here. So let me just change up everything. Monster is going to be right here. Okay, that's where that monster is going to be. Okay. Stairs, that'll bump it up. Yep, stairs are always nice. Yep. Yep, we can add stairs if you want to. Stairs are not complex to make. They're really easy. Just use that concrete. These square concretes are really nice for stairs. I'm just going to go like this. And you can make stairs. Simple as that. Nothing complex. And actually, let's just add in a piece like this. Okay. And then if you want, we can add in like this. Okay. And so so stairs are always nice. I absolutely agree. And in fact, we can just add in these same stairs over to here because they just look nice. So we'll just add them right here like this. So you have some stairs there. That's nice. And underneath here, you can do whatever you want. Put in some kind of texture for stone or just fill it in with these pieces. That's fine too, whichever way you want to do it. It doesn't really matter, but you can do it like that. I can fill them in like this. One here, even make it smaller so it fits in like that. Okay, so you have some stairs now. Absolutely agree. I love making stairs. This one you jump down and then you go, and there's stairs that go down to here, fall off, land in here. Okay, so far so good. No questions. Hey Scattercloud, glad you're here. Okay, and then also I kind of want to make this piece also broken, as you would expect, because it's the other part of the bridge. So let's just go ahead and add in some broken pieces. Right, someone's mic is on. You might want to mute your mic. Okay. All right, and let's also add in a pillar right here. Okay. So that entrance is broken off, and then we want to also add in some pieces down here. So one piece fell off here, so we'll put one down like this, put another one leaning up against it like this, and then let's add a piece right here. Okay. And then you can go ahead and take these pieces again, and we're going to just do that same thing. We're just going to have a bunch of pieces like they broke off. This one, we'll have one like this, and let's add one more like this, and we can even add in those smaller pieces like this. Make one a little bit bigger. I love making rubble. Rubble's so much fun. Everyone knows it's just a dang good time to make rubble, but it's also time consuming. Oh my gosh, it's so time consuming, but it pays off, right? Look, now you got this nice collapsed bridge section, 100 changes even, boom. Stairs, that'll bump it up. Oh yeah. Heck yeah. Yeah, any other suggestions, let me know. I was thinking of adding in like a bunch of, having something hanging down, maybe some spikes sticking out, that same concept we did right here. We put stuff in the foreground. Maybe that would be a good idea, like adding in like a tusk from Fantasy Battle Map or Fantasy Battle Map 2.0. So like if you want, you can put a tusk in right here like this. It just adds a little bit more scariness to it. So let's add a tusk there. And I'm going to leave it. Let's turn off the shadow for now. And we'll throw in a couple here. Let's add in one giant one. Add in a couple small ones. Let's rotate that. I'm sorry. Someone say something? Nope. Okay. All right. So we're just going to add in a bunch of spikes just to kind of give this boss room a little bit more sinister feel to it. I'm also going to change this to saturation to where it's just gray, and I might change the brightness just a bit. Okay. Add in some spikes or tusks, and you can even put them in the on the roof too. For now, let's put them on the ground so it kind of has this intimidating, ominous feel to it. Don't forget to put a couple on the bottom layer and make them really big. So put one like this and then drop that brightness. So it's going to look like there's spikes also in the background. So we'll put a couple more in here, one right here maybe, and then we'll put in a smaller one over, let's say, right here. Okay, so now you have some spikes there in the background. 19 changes, we're doing good. Let's zoom out and take a look. So far, I kind of like it. This is a nice little boss room. You got this collapsed bridge. This is obviously going to take you out. All right, let's see here. Now it's time to give, oh wait, what about some chains to swing across? See ya for now, bye. What about some slime? Ooh, you mean like a slime as in like a monster slime, or like slime that is like on the wall that you get stuck in. Which one? What do you think, Cheryl? Is it going to be sticky slime or is it like sentient? Oh, like sewer slime. Okay. Well, slime. The slime assets. Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, let's pick a theme for each room. So we haven't picked a theme for this room right here. So should we put in, you want to say, put some slime in here? I think the slime might go well in this room. What do you think? Is people okay with the slime being in that room? Okay, let's go ahead and put in slime then, if no one has any objections. All right, awesome. Let's type in slime. Okay, so this sewer slime absolutely works great. So what I'm going to do is pretend that this stuff is like super sticky and it kind of requires a way to get around it. So let's add this. I think it's set to object shadow. Let's just turn that off. And that won't work either. You should, let me make sure. Let me go click this. Is the object shadow off? Perfect. Okay. So this stuff's like really sticky and it's hard to get off. So I would assume that this is something like where your player is running around trying to, you know, break this stuff up and try to get out of it. And we'll also add in some goodies like chests and stuff. We'll do that last. For now, let's just add in all these pieces. So you got some slime just to get into this section alone. Right here, so you have to break that up to get in there. Let's add in long pieces, like this maybe. Put one right. Oh, let's take a look. Well, actually, let's face it going the other way, because I've already got a long piece going that way. See, I already have a piece going like this. And so if I had made it this way, it would be two parallel lines. As you can see, that doesn't look good. So just flip and rotate it and kind of just move it to the side like this. And then you can add other pieces that are kind of attached to that piece like this. Okay, and just say that it's hard to get to this platform. You could put a chest up here. Like if you're ever going to add like a trap, like slime spikes, make sure that there's like, if you're going to add a punishment, make sure that at least there's some reward as well when you're making a side scroller. At least for me, like, why did I go through all this slime, you know, just to progress? No, I want to get to the chest. So make sure that you have some kind of reward punishment system there. And I'm going to put some slime here as well, because I don't want people to hook shot to it from the other side. They break through all this and then they get over to here and then they hook shot over to it. So you have to make it challenging. So adding this kind of gunk everywhere is helpful. Let's put in maybe, ooh, let's see, one more like this might look good. Oh, it's paralleling though. I don't really care for that. Yikes. Maybe I can put one long enough to where it'll fit between these three. I don't know. Let's find out. Does that work? Are you gonna work? No, it won't work. You can transform the slime to create a thick appearance on the floor. Yep, absolutely. You're talking about like taking this, make sure it's set at 0. That I haven't actually tried that before, but this, yeah, this is cool. So you're saying like this, right? Add a little bit of slime on the floor. Yeah, that's cool. I kind of dig that. It's super deformed, but I think it would work. I think it might work. So let's just go ahead and keep doing that. Add a little bit more on the floor here. Looks kind of weird. Oopsie, did I just push one over here somewhere? Oops. Yeah, when you transform something this much, it can look really weird. So just kind of be careful. I think if I just place it on top of it instead, that should work well. So I think that looks okay. And then maybe we can add another one right here. Let me make sure I got it right. No, yeah, copy, paste. Put that one right here like this. Okay. So you got some nice slime. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Great choice, by the way. Looks awesome. Yeah, feel free to throw out any suggestions that you might have. So I really like this slime room, and in fact, we might want to even add in some green into the room to make it more of a green theme. And we can even add in another color like purple, which is a complementary color to green. So we could add in some purple stuff too for fun. I want to show real quick a trick that I like to do using silhouettes. So what's really nice is if you want to create more depth, you can take things like, let me take a cactus real quick, right from Fantasy Regional HD. Oh, it's not showing up. Maybe it's under Okay, that's weird. Hold on a second. My screen is loading really slow, so just be patient with me. Okay, we're going to use Fantasy Regional HD. Okay, so you can do this with any stamp. I'm just going to use this one. But if you want more depth, you can place whatever stamp you want, set it to layer 5, drop the brightness all the way down, and you can kind of create this illusion of depth by adding in these black silhouettes. And I do this a lot. This always looks super nice. Copy and paste like this. And you have this extra dimension of depth. And you can flip them and rotate them to change them up if you want to go like this way, you want to go like this. Sometimes just straight up can look kind of weird, so you can change them up like this. Let's have this one rotate this way just a little bit. Okay, and this adds in, like I said, just a little extra bit of depth. Adds in a nice silhouette. Make sure you don't overdo it though, because I'm prone to overdo it, so don't do it too much. Like you don't want to do it so much to where you're hiding your nice archwork here. Okay, so only do it where it looks pretty nice. Okay, and you can even do it to the roofs as well. If you go to the top like this, you can even add in silhouettes like this. It's up to you how you want to do it, and you can do it with any stamp you want. There's a whole list of stamps that you can do this with. So you can do it with, say, you wanted to use these staglamites, right? You wanted to add a little bit more. I think is it stalactites? I can't remember. Okay, just place it and then drop brightness all the way down. Again, you want it layer 5, right? And you can just put this on top like this, and make sure you rotate because you can see the shadows. That's why the background is black, because then the shadow won't show up on the background. That's why when I make these kind of cavern side scrollers, always have this negative layer be black so that any shadows that are baked in from stamps won't overlap onto whatever texture you're using here. So just use black. It just works so much better. That's just my opinion. Okay, let's go ahead and add in a couple more spikes here. Just kind of make the room pop out a little bit by adding in these nice little pieces. Does that look okay so far? You're all right with these, or do you think it kind of took away? Honestly, I think it might be too much. I don't know. Please share your thoughts. Oh, you do like that. Okay, cool. That's good. I'm glad you do, Edward. I have to go. Oh, bye, Show Kev. Thank goodness it's recorded. Enjoy. Merry Christmas. Yeah, I kind of like that. That looks good. We'll do the same in this room too, but I just wanted to show that real quick so that people can kind of see it, because I know some people are going in and out, and so I want to fit in as much as possible, so if someone has to go, they can kind of catch it. Let's add in just little bit more slime, and then we'll work on putting a little bit more in this room. Let's just connect these two together, so that'll look nice. Make sure there's no shadow on there. I don't think so. No shadow. Okay, that works good. All right, and then let's also add in, let's take a look at our options for textures, and we could add in a whole bunch of things. One thing that could be nice is to add in your cracked ground right here, and it will make it look like the walls cracked a little bit. Let's see if this will work. Let's just change the size. Let's just apply it 100% softness. Let's just real quick see what it looks like when we add that in. Okay, yeah, I do like that cracked ground. Let's just do it a little bit more because I want some of those highlights to pop out, so that looks kind of nice. So you have this nice cracked ground, and then also let's also add in I'm going to show you a real quick trick that I love to do with mist. So you make the mist, make it nice and big like this. You might even have to resize it so it fills up that whole room. Make sure it's set to layer 5. Change the shadow to object. Change the color to green. So you have this nice green shadow in there. And then go to your blend modes and it'll make the room look a bit different. Let's go through the various blend modes first. Screen, there's color dodge. Ooh, whoa, that's trippy. A little too bright. Maybe a soft light. Go through all the various blend modes. Kind of see which one looks best. Like sometimes just color might work. I like that. That kind of gives it that nice green glow color. That slime is pretty bright, so that adds that nice glow to it. And make sure that you lock that stamp too. as well, because when you try to select other things in that room, you're probably going to end up selecting that mist. So whenever you use mist or clouds and then change the blend modes or shadows, make sure that you lock them and put them on, again, layer 5, so that it affects every single stamp that's below it. Okay, so it adds that nice green. Mati, do you do anything to the Cavern Walls I missed? Do you use any blend mode settings, or did you just layer some with opacity? So you're talking about just the walls, the cliff section of the walls, Renly? I didn't do anything special. I just turned off the clipping mask so that I don't pick up whatever the FG layer is. But you can do that too. You can leave the clip mask on and then just paint whatever the FG layer is, whatever texture you want. Okay, so it's up to you. Like, honestly, I probably in hindsight should have left the clip masks on and then just painted them whatever color I want, so that I wouldn't be dealing with these stamps sticking behind things. So that was kind of an issue that I was dealing with, and I realized I probably should have just kept the clip masks on. So that's a boo-boo on my part. Oopsie. No, I do not flatten them, and the reason why is because your exactly, you're gonna end up editing your cliff walls as you go, because you know, you might be like, well, I want this room to be bigger for a monster in it, or I want it to be smaller so it's harder to dodge things. So you'll have to go back and change those walls. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, next fun part is to add in spikes. I absolutely love punishing my players a little bit. So type in spike. And there are these nice spikes in Fantasy Battle Map 2.0. These spikes work great, and I like to put them in 3s. So just place 1, 2, 3, like this. So you have that nice spikes, and you can even kind of add a couple at the end here just to be like, aha, this isn't going to be that easy. You can even rotate them just a little bit if you want, if you don't want it to be all the same. So just rotate, maybe even put one here in the front. Haha. You have to, first thing you walk through the door, brr, ow! be just a little mean, okay? Be just a little mean. Also, what kind of fun is to also add some spikes to your platforms up top, so that if someone is running and they jump, they might accidentally hit these spikes, so that's kind of a nice thing to do. Also, be sure to drop the brightness down, because there's a shadow underneath that platform. So you have to select them all and just bring the brightness down. Oops, I only selected one. Naughty. Ooh, I'm even going to flip and rotate because they're all kind of the same. There we go. Looks a little better. Select these, bring that brightness down just a hair. There we go. So it looks like it's in the shadow. And so if someone jumps, they're going to boom! They're going to hit that. Ha It's fun to be mean. You can even add them like on the side like this. So if they try to jump up that way, then boom, they hit that spike. So, you know, be mean to your players, okay? Because as a DM, I can guarantee you they're going to be mean to you. Just have fun, right? Okay, so we got some spikes there. Also, there is a really fun one where you can use a buzzsaw, I think. These buzzsaw floor saws can work great if you want to have, just make sure you have a flat surface to put it on. Obviously, on a wrecked ground like this, a buzzsaw going across doesn't make any sense. But if you wanted to, you could put a buzzsaw like right here, and then the player will obviously have to jump and dodge, you know, over that buzzsaw. So that's kind of a nice trap to add in, as well as spikes, slime. You could even have these spikes do damage if you landed on them. I'm not going to worry about that, but you get the general idea. Adding in traps is nice. 100% players constantly deal psychological damage to us DMs. That's why you just gotta just dish it back. You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna do this, then yeah, just do it back, you know? Okay, so let's just review real quick where we start. So you start here at the beginning, kind of an easy entrance. There's not much, just a couple spikes to jump over. These crystals don't hurt you. You jump, land here, go over here, and you're gonna have to hack and slash your way through this section to get to a chest up here, and I'll show you how I make chests. And we'll even add more in there a little bit later. I just want to get to each room, and then you're going to jump down, land into here to kind of cushion your your landing. You can even add something interesting that's floating in the water that goes back and forth and has some spikes on it. So if you want, you could add those kind of fun things. So let's just say that there's something floating in the water. Let's add in some barrels maybe. Like there's also like explosive barrels. So you can take these barrels and put TNT on it, and they can blow up, and maybe it would blow up like a lot of the this stuff. So if you have like a weapon, you hack and slash through here, and then you blow up this thing and it blows up the rest of the slime. I'm sure you've played games, you know that there's always something explosive running around, especially in those FPS first person shooters. There's always a, you know, explosive something running around for you to blow up. So let's add something in the water that's floating and have some spikes on it, and maybe it's going back and forth. So one thing you could do is just like maybe put a barrel like this, and then we'll put spikes on it. And I'm not going to use the spikes that we just used. These are kind of flat, but these spikes right here. And the reason why I'm using these because I want some depth to it. So let's say, and I'm also going to, let's just do this real quick. Add one spike there, small one here, like this. And I might even want to consider increasing the transform tool. Let's go with, not width, go with height. So I get a little bit more height in the spike. There we go, like that. I'm just going to copy and paste these, flip, rotate. Let's put that there, one here. Let's put one on the, let's go one going over like this so it looks like it's going over that little belt, and make this one a bit smaller over here like this. And then one more right here on this edge. Okay, so you got your spike barrel here. Make sure you group it and call it your spike barrel, obviously, so that way you can copy and paste them where you want. Spike dash barrel. Okay, this is really going to be helpful in the future. Make one of something and then you can copy and paste it. And let's also make sure to turn off the object shadow for everything. My bad. So open this up, turn off the object shadow, and make sure it's set a layer below so that when you move this whole group down a layer, oopsie, didn't mean to lock it. When you take it down, it's gonna, some of it will be in the water. So you see like that, okay? And then just rotate like this, copy, paste it, make one, maybe make a smaller one. And so now you have, the path is affecting the bottom of the barrel, so it looks like it's underwater. So you have these two spike barrels, so you have to be kind of careful where you fall. Maybe you have to like shoot down as you fall to blow them up, so that way they don't affect you. That's kind of what I'm going with. Let's go 64 changes. So far I kind of like where it's going, and we'll be sure to add in some cobwebs too. I think it would be nice to add some spider webs, maybe add a whole section right here. This is all just made of web. Okay, so we got our nice spiked barrels. Let's also add our explosive barrel as well. We're going to add in some more stuff, and just type in TNT like this. Let's go up a layer. There we go. Turn off. Let's go black. Let's go bold, and let's also change, there we go. Let's go with that one. And then also we're going to change that blend mode so that it blends better in with the barrel. So let's switch over to blend mode. We'll go through a couple of them. Lighten, screen color dodge, overlay. That works just fine right there. Now you can type in TNT, or you can also put in a skull. I think there's a, in Parchment World, there is a skull and crossbones. Let me see if I can find that real quick. One sec. Oopsie. This one right here. You can also do this. Just put it in this, and again, change that blend mode too, so it matches in better. Let's just go through the blend modes here. I think overlay will work just fine. And make sure you group, of course, and then just call it TNT for now. So you have those TNT barrels, right? And we'll put some in the boss area because that's kind of where I would expect it to be. If we have just a couple down here laying down, then that way you have something to interact with. Maybe there's some minions that show up somewhere. I also need to make sure I turn off these shadows. Okay. And so let's add in a couple barrels. Let's have one just laying on the ground like this. Let's copy and paste, put in another one somewhere. Let's put one maybe laying on the ground over here. So having just a couple available for your players to use, and I'm going to put it down a layer so that the stone is in front of it. Okay. So now you have some explosive barrels. That looks nice. You have the spike barrels here. Awesome. 80 changes. I'm going to make some saves. If you have any questions, let me know. Any suggestions for that water room? What besides just those barrels, should we maybe put in some sparkles, maybe add in something in the water that's sinister, like a creature or something? There's all kinds of things that we can do. Okay, let's just take a look. And we will get to filters too. Filters are very helpful. I just love these little floating barrels. These are freaking fun. Okay, so we've got a buzzsaw on this section. And I feel like the walls are really plain. Like here we added some stuff. So why don't we continue with adding things to attach to the walls and more of this silhouette stuff to kind of add more depth to the rooms. Let's just kind of look at our options. Fantasy Battle Map has got some nice plant life that you can use. So let's pick something. You know, let's go with Fae stuff since we just released Fae. Let's just use Fae stuff. So you go down the list here in the left panel, click Fae, and these kind of purplish things are absolutely terrifying looking. So, and I do know that purple and green are complementary colors, so maybe we should add in some of this stuff. Maybe, we'll see. Let's just try adding in some stuff and just see how it looks. If it doesn't look good, we can change it. Okay, let's just add in one here as well. And I don't know about this quite yet. Let's just go ahead and select all of these. Let's go to boost the saturation all the way up so they're at 100% saturation, and maybe even drop the brightness down. This might not work. Sometimes it doesn't always look good. So let's also go to 0, and I'm gonna put a shadow underneath these to kind of make them look like they're hovering a little bit. Not sure. Let's go down. Let's just check. This might not be the right color to use. And let's go here. Okay, I'm not so sure. Let's take a look. Oopsie, set this to 0. I want the shadows to be down underneath. You know, I'm not digging that. So instead, what I'm going to do is just take the brightness all the way, and we're going to just do a silhouette instead. And I really like the kind of frilly dots that this thing has. So I think this would kind of look nice to add in as a silhouette. So we'll go ahead and add these in like this. Okay, make sure that object shadow is turned off because you don't want these to be blurred. You want to see those little dots. And what I'm doing is just adding a little bit of flora so that it looks a little bit more realistic. Underground flora looks so interesting in a cave, so we'll add that stuff in. Add that in. I think that looks okay. As long as it doesn't take up too much of the floor space, it adds a sense of mystery, says Edward. I absolutely agree, 100%. Okay, so let's keep going. I still think this room is really plain, so it kind of just needs a little bit more pop to it, a little bit more fun. Let's add in some chests. So let's add in a chest. I'll show you how I make a chest. Oopsie, and I just realized. So just taking a regular chest like this, and again, when you're piecing stamps together, just make it really big. Like this. Start here, and I'm going to just assemble kind of a simple chest using wooden pieces. Let's go with, oopsie, might be slow to load. I haven't refreshed in a little while, so I probably need to do that soon. Let's just go ahead and put some side pieces like this. And then, let's see here. That should be okay. Let's add another small piece too. Like this. Oopsie, that's not going the way I wanted it to, so I'll have to redo some of these. Let's just change the short. Let's turn the layer off and then go to transform and change these heights. There we go. So at least they're kind of getting close. I might have to do a little bit more. Just flip, do this side. And then also I like to add a little theme to it. So let's add a skull real quickly to it. We'll stick with the theme. I've got some skulls in there, so let's keep a couple. And this skull is basically, I'm gonna go right here like this. And I'm also gonna bring that shadow down so below, so it looks like it's popping out. So let's go to 0, 0, and then bring the shadow down like this. Okay, and that's basically gonna be our chest. So if I just, oopsie, let's make sure I don't select that. Group. Okay, so you have a chest, and then also there's one other thing I like to do. I also like to add in a kind of symbols so that your players understand where things are at and what's going on with things. So let's take a rug, and you want to use a circular one. I'll show you how this all works out in a second. Drop the contrast and the brightness all the way up. And then in the parchment, there should be a lock, I think. Let's just go to parchment real quick. Ooh, so slow. And I have like 35 minutes left. Ooh, I hope none of you mind if this goes on just a little bit longer. Unfortunately, these side scrollers are just so incredibly time consuming. Okay, so I'm going to go through the symbols and kind of look for a lock. I think it's right here, and this just represents that there's like a chest there. I like to rotate a little bit and then just select these two, group them, and then I like to put it anywhere you want. Put this right here. You can put it on top of his head if you want. You can put it over here. Whatever it is you want. It's just to let people know that this is a chest and that, you know, it's available to you. You can put it right here in the center if you want, whatever. I'm just going to put it there for now. And then I'm going to group these and then call this whole thing chest. Chest. How does that work? I don't know. Okay. And it's on layer 5. Let's make sure it's a layer below because we want that mist to affect it, right? So now we add this, put it on top up here. And now that you have a bunch of chests, you should copy, paste, and put some in certain places. Like you can put a chest over here somewhere, have it rotated. It's on the edge right there where you can't get to it. So 2 chests, we're doing good. We got some explosive barrels, got some spike barrels floating in the water. And then we have these nice little kind of silhouettes going on right here. Let's just make it a little bit bigger. Again, don't want to cover up that wall. And let's add in one more right here. Let's just make sure that those are sticking out so you can see them. There we go. I kind of like that. There we go. So far, so good. 49 changes. Now we can do with the fall part. Okay, thank you for the morning inspiration, Matt. I'll post some whip today. Awesome. I'd love to see that, Renly. Okay. All right. So I also want to put some stuff on the walls here going down. Like maybe some spikes might be fun. I'm not sure. Maybe just adding a couple spikes to this wall or adding something else. We can go check our catalog real quick. Sometimes it's fun just to meander and peruse through the catalog to look for things that might look good. And that's okay to do that because it's really fun to actually just go through the catalog and see the kind of stamps that might work for you. Oh, you know, I know one that would work really well for our ceiling is roots. Okay, and because this is where the entrance is, we can assume that there's going to be some roots sticking out. So let's do that next. Roots will work good. There's a couple ways to go about it. You can do the silhouette technique where you're just doing black like this. Again, don't forget to turn off those object shadows. And so you can have it like this if you want, or you can have it to where it's just sticking out of the walls. So let's put one right here like this. So you have some sticking out. Let's put another one over here against this wall like this. And then let's add one more over here like this. Let's see. And let's just see how it looks first, and we can kind of move on from there if it doesn't look right. Yeah, that works pretty good. I think that the mist is affecting the stamps pretty good. The only thing I would do is probably these are a little too bright. Because these are technically in the background, I would just drop that brightness down a little bit so that way they are not so bright. And it will also make this slime pop more to the foreground because it's against something dark. Watch what happens when I brighten this up. You see, if that bright slime no longer pops out, but when I drop the brightness down, it makes that slime pop out. So it's always important to think about contrast, lights against darks. That's what contrast is, and that's what's going to help you to make your stamps pop out, is by adding in that contrast. Super duperty important, I'll tell you right now. Okay, so we've added in some roots. I think that looks pretty good. I think that was just that one piece that we kind of needed for that room. And then we have this other room still that is right here, and that is where you fall. I think some spikes might be fun, or we can just prove and see what other options we have. Let's just take a look. If anyone has ideas, let me know. I will gladly add them. There are these sharp kind of thorn bushes. We've got some mushrooms are nice. I love using these. I love using coral for silhouette because it just looks so cool when you do it right. Let's just see what it looks like if I add some coral in here, just for fun. Let's take a look. Ooh, that's kind of cool. Let's go up a layer. Okay, I kind of like it in the background better, but I think this is kind of cool. I like this kind of look to it. So let's add in a little bit of coral here and there. Oopsie, let's make sure it goes up a layer so it's up in front like this. Oopsie, I just realized that I have to be careful. And then the next part too is to add it again, only this time as a silhouette. So we'll push it all the way to here, turn that shadow off, brightness down, and that way you have some of these nice popping out like this. I love using coral. Coral works great. So just add that. So you have this nice kind of depth to the pool. I just love that. Looks good. 72 changes. We'll save. What clip did you use on the path to water again? I'm going to recreate. What clip? Do you mean what blend mode? Renly? Okay, that's okay. It's all right. Clip, same thing. Let's take a look and see what it's at. Difference is what I'm using. But just so you know, there's all kinds of blend. There's so many that you can use. Like, we'll go through the list. Darken, multiply, still works. Color burn looks cool. Lighten looks cool. Color dodge is a bit bright. Overlay works, soft light, difference, exclusion. I mean, they all look interesting to me, but I'm using difference for this one. I just think it looks interesting because it's water underground, and so it's going to be a little bit more unique and different. But yes, difference is the one I used here specifically. Okay, so we've added in those nice coral at the bottom. Love that. You can also have things sticking out of the water, going up like this if you want. So let's just switch this back down, and let's say you want to have some coral sticking out or some seaweed sticking out. So I would also change the color too. I don't like green here, so just change the hue to whatever color you want. You can go with this kind of green color right here. I kind of like that. Let's also boost up the saturation. Okay, and now we have a bunch of these, and we can just put them together. Let's flip and rotate so then we don't accidentally have two facing the same way. Let's pick another one. I think there's some other longer ones like this. This works good. Okay. Going out like this. And then let's add another long one. And let's see if we can have some of them sticking in front of it. So maybe I can have some of it sticking out in front like this. So you're adding even more depth. So adding in these nice kind of seaweed that are just kind of popping out. I think that just looks extra nice. And again, it just adds more depth because you have things popping out like that. So that looks nice in my opinion. So now we have that looks good. And I like that green. It goes well against that purple. And we'll do that mist trick that we did. I think, let me look up mist. Ooh, let me type in it real quick. Mist, copy, paste, and it's green. Don't worry, you just got to change it to a different color. So, and what I did by adding in this mist, you kind of add a glow from the water. And so that has this kind of eerie bluish color now, and it matches with this. Made that room good. As always, make sure you lock, okay? I mean, the blend modes with mist and color shadow, object shadow, it's chef's kiss. It's gold. Definitely use it, not just for side scrollers. You can absolutely use this technique in fantasy and with battle maps, with world maps, whatever. Trust me, this technique works great for a lot of things. All right, we're at 10 changes. I feel like we should just add in more. Like this right here just looks really flat. So we might want to consider adding something that will break up the flatness. We already used cracked ground right here for this area. I don't want to have more cracked ground down here. So we should add something different. And I'm probably going to end up using some sparkles because I want that. So let's first go to Fey color. Oopsie, that's not how you spell Fey. Fey is not few. Uh-oh, what's going on here? Did I miss out? Let's take a look. You know, I think I'm going to save and refresh the page because I've gone through like probably about 1,000 changes and saved so many times. So let's just refresh the page real quick so that we can kind of get rid of old data. One moment while I fix this. Oopsie, that is not what I wanted to do. Let's log in. Thanks for the patience. Right, and again, for any of you who just kind of walked in, don't worry, this is recorded and it will be put onto YouTube. Don't forget, it's going to be Thursday. It will probably be Thursday, 10 a.m. PDT. Okay, so just so you know, and there are no streams coming up next week. Just want to let you know it's going to be some holiday vacation time. I hope you two are also all getting some time off to spend time with your wonderful families. Okay, all right. So we fixed that. Let's go back in. Oh, wait, there's some Fey lights right here. Perfect, there they are. Okay, I'm going to add them in later. Let's just make sure it's there in my, let's just favorite it right now real quick so I don't forget it. And then let's go over our other options. And I kind of want to use an alpha. And there's water, so I would expect some kind of like something growing on the wall because there's water, right? Wherever there's water, you're going to have life. So what we should consider doing is changing the size of this and then maybe changing also the hue to fit that kind of weird color that we got. Maybe this blue will work well, or maybe purple. Let's just apply quickly. Let's go with 30%, make sure it's set to FG, hit that one key, and let's just apply it to the ground and just see what it looks like first, just to make sure that it looks okay, because we don't want to find out it doesn't look good. Okay, you know, I actually kind of like this. I think this looks kind of good. And then we also want to add in those Fey lights as well, just above the water. You don't have to go all the way up, just above the water. Okay, that's a little bit too much. Let's change this opacity a little bit, like this, going up, and then even in the water if you want, that's fine. Let's add in some little weird dots in the water, so you have that Fey and it just kind of adds to it more. Got those spikes. So far I'm pretty satisfied with that. I might want to consider making the spike barrel, the barrel, have a shadow so it'll pop out more. Let's just see if I can get that to work. Let's go to 0, and it is set to reverse, so should I set it to black? Let me just check and see what it looks like. Yeah, okay, so it is changed up a bit differently. There we go. I'm going to add just a very light shadow around it so that it pops out a bit more, because it doesn't seem to pop out against the wall because of the color. So just going in and adding a very light, small shadow, object shadow, will help. I'm just going to go with white. Go to 0, 0. Drop this down. Okay, there we go. So these pop out a little bit more. Look kind of ghostly too by adding that that shadow. Kind of fun, right? All right, so the next part too is to also add in some decoration to these walls. I'm just going to straight up use these sewer roots. I think these work well, so let's just go put a couple in here. One right there should look good, and let's add in one more on the side over here somewhere, going something like, let's say right here. Okay, and the reason why I'm putting them just two like this is because I don't want to have have them all on one side, because then you have this blank side right here. So if you put one here, make sure you put another one across so that it's balanced out for the person who's looking at it. And I'm going to turn that object shadow off. I don't want this object shadow on. And again, make sure you drop that brightness because these are in the background. So drop that brightness down. And same thing with this one. And I'm actually going to change this one to a different luminosity. I'm going to change it to a different luminosity so that way it kind of blends in better. So we got that, 16 changes, we're doing good. We're keeping the roots, we'll just keep that root theme here, so that looks good. Got the spikes. Let's go ahead and add some cobwebs. So let's just say that maybe we could have maybe for a boss, we can have a giant spider in here and have cobwebs. Is everyone okay with a giant spider? Well, there's no one's protesting, so I think that's okay. So we're gonna have to look up cobwebs. Okay, so I got some cobwebs, and just like up here, we had a bunch of slime up here. We're gonna do the same thing down here. I wanted to put other things, but we are running short on time, so I don't want to keep you too long. So I'm just gonna add a whole bunch in here real quick. Let's add some small ones first, leading up to it, because most of the cobwebs will be in here. So what we're gonna do is just add in a couple in here first. Just a little bit, because you're building up to this area that's going to have a lot more cobwebs. We can have this whole section down here probably covered in cobwebs. So we'll do that. Let's just go ahead and quickly add in this one. Let's flip rotate real quick. There we go. Like this. Okay, so you have some cobweb there. Then we're going to add some really, really big ones here. This is going to be kind of difficult because we have a lot of negative space here. So one thing we can do is start with these smaller, longer ones like this. Not that one, not that one. Where are you? Where did that small one go? Where did that go? This one right here. Okay, let's do this one. This is going to be kind of difficult because there's not a lot of places to kind of connect the cobwebs to. So that can be kind of challenging. Okay, add one in here. This is always probably one of the more challenging parts, is trying to get cobwebs to work, because it has to connect to something. And so you have to add in something in here to make it work. Why don't we add in some fun things? Let's continue working on the wall. So go Cavern Walls. And I'm going to take a couple of these cavern pieces and put together a kind of a island that you can kind of jump on. So let's just take this piece right here. I think this should work. Let's go take a look. This piece right here works pretty good because you can connect these together. Oops, let's turn that off. It's not what I wanted. Turn, rotate these, and then let's also put these together like this. And I might have to make it a little bit smaller too, so we'll see. Okay, let's make sure I select all of these, not this one. Am I selecting anything else I don't want? Okay, so group this, and then you have like this extra piece, like this. I'm not sure, entirely certain yet how to approach this section. If a spider's coming down, there's obviously going to be some sections where something's going to be in the way, right? You like, let's say you want to shoot it or something, or you want to, do some kind of projectile weapon. There's got to be something that's going to be getting in the way from you shooting nothing, just projectiles. Otherwise, you just stand on a platform and just shoot to your heart's content until the boss is dead, right? Okay, that's going to be so boring. So add in elements that are going to block your projectile weapon, things like that. So kind of keep that part in mind. That's really important. I'm going to find a way to create maybe some platforms, maybe. Let's just steal this platform right here. We want to get out of this, and let's just steal the spikes as well. So we'll copy and paste the whole thing. Put this here, and I think I'm just going to put more spikes too. And let's just kind of rotate them a little bit to give it a little bit more realism to it. I'm just going to group this. So spike here. So jumping and shooting is not going to work. So you hook shot on top of this thing, land on here and shoot. I'm thinking a spider is going to go up and down on a web and then sends minions after you. And so that's why we have these barrels here. So if a bunch, like there's 30 minions running after you, you're going back this way, you can shoot that barrel, blow it up. Or the spider goes down their web and lands right here. You can blow them up, do some serious damage there. So that's some important things. And then we can also add in some swinging things that make it difficult to shoot, jump, and move around, and I'll show you how to do that. So let's make one of those first, and I like to make, just look up chain. Let's do chain first. And there should be some chains here. So let's chain, we're gonna put a piece together. So let's just see, there's some negative space right here. We should be able to do it. Again, make it kind of big, and then we're gonna type in pillar. And there should be some spiky pillars you can choose from, like this. This can work. You can use like this thing and say that this is a pillar. And because they're kind of a different color scheme, I just changed the saturation so it's all the same. Okay, you can do that. You can connect a piece so it looks like it's connected to that chain. And then you can even rotate it so that it shows that it is rotating. So this thing can be rotating back and forth like this to make it look like this chain is swinging. I'll show you the swing radius so you can kind of see it. So it's kind of swinging like this. All right, so that you can add a little bit of a swing radius. You can put that wherever you want. Okay, it just depends. You can put that like over here somewhere and the spider goes down and it doesn't even affect them. You know, don't you love that where traps only affect you, the player, but they don't affect any of the minions or the monsters running around? You're like, what the heck? This might be one of those things, I think. Okay, so we're going to add in obviously a piece for this to connect to. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. If you don't like the way this looks, you don't have to use that. That's okay. You can use something else. I'll show you some other tricks too. I'm just going to put a skull there just for fun to make it more intimidating. Make sure I turn off that shadow too. And I'm going to change that saturation and the brightness. And I think I might even change up to where it fits better into that circle, so like this. Okay, so you have this like little skull swinging thing on the corner there. I actually don't really like it there, but I just wanted to show you how I make them. Just gonna group it. We'll call it a, I don't know, ouchie swing, ouch swing. You know, it's not something you want to bump into. Okay. You could add more crystals, absolutely. Yep. Yep, could add crystals. Oopsie, I think a bunch of shadows are on this thing. I don't want that. Let's make sure I turn that off. But if you have something that's like floating in the air, like this thing right here, do not have object shadows on because you don't want it to feel like there's any depth to it. It's just floating. It's in the middle space, so don't add any shadows. Okay, that would be my recommendation for that. All right, add more crystals. Yes, we could do that. Absolutely. One thing we could do is change up the crystal type as well. We have like all these, like we could use these ones instead. Make sure that you change the object shadow to where it's got that same kind of glow to it. And these are rendered a bit differently, so make them fairly small and just kind of place them here and there. And if there's these ones that have kind of like a direction to it, make sure that these are directed properly. But the ones that like this that don't really have that, don't worry about it. So let's just put a couple here so that these blue things have some transition between the wall and the crystals. Oopsie, that one's directional. I'll have to go in and switch that around. That one there and put this one right here. Okay, let's just take a step back. Oopsie, this one's also directional. Let's put that way. Okay, I'm just gonna take a look. Yeah, yep, I do think adding extra crystals really helped with that transition. So I really like that. So thank you very much, Edward. Okay, and we're gonna put more here too because we wanna have that nice transition. And again, just remember that if you have like one that is directional, make sure you just rotate it properly, okay? There we go. Yes, that looks so much better. I love those little crystals there. That really, really helped on that transition. Great job, thank you. Awesome, yes, absolutely. I love crystals. I put them all over the place. But again, make sure that you have varying sizes so it kind of has a more realistic feel to it. And I used both. I used a battle mat crystal and used fantasy regional crystals for larger ones, because if you make these smaller ones really big, the line art just gets really weird. So I actually recommend using these regional HD ones for big crystals, and then for the smaller ones that are at the base, make them just use the FB Fantasy Battle Map ones because they just look so nice. Okay, what do we have left? What we have left is just this. Let's make sure to put this inside this group too. Copy and delete it. Open this up. V, put that in there. Okay, that way you have it. I don't know if I really want to put it here. I might want to put them maybe in other places. You could put it over here somewhere. I don't know. I'm not going to have a swingy one in this one. So I could put it here. It could be the background, I guess. You could put a second platform right here. Let's just do that. Let's put a second platform right here. And that's what that swingy thing is about, is just getting in the way, even though your boss going up and down would kind of get in the way. So I don't know. We'll just see. But we'll put that there for now, just so there's an obstacle to get to this platform. Let's say you want to do like a melee attack instead of shooting, then you want to get up close to the spider. This is where that platform is, because the spider is going to go up and down like this. So it starts up here and it goes up and down, or it might swing to the side, but there's also minions running around. And of course, the longer you allow the boss to live, the more minions that they're going to produce, okay? So just kind of keep that bit in mind. One thing I also want to add is if this is going to be a spider's den, we need some spider eggs, right? We need some broken eggs where there's slime coming out of it. We need some eggs that haven't been opened up yet. So I think adding in some eggs would be nice. Would different color crystals throw everything off? It could. It possibly could. I'm not going to do that. I hope you're not offended. I'm going to go do the spider thing, but maybe we can go back to it. Let's just type in egg real quick. Okay, it is 12 right now. Everyone's okay with just going on? Thank you, I appreciate your understanding, Edward. Everyone's okay with maybe another about 30 minutes or so? Cool. Well, I appreciate the patience, everybody. It's just, again, these side scrollers are ridiculously time consuming. I'm not going to be sad if I have to continue watching your stream. How dare you? Okay, so let's type in egg, and I'm going to expand all. Let's see here. These are all. Oh, oopsie. I need to search all styles. My bad. Okay, these eggs won't work. These are not the right huevos. We want different huevos. Give it a second. It's just retrieving art from the catalog. Okay, oh, here we go. So there's these nice monster eggs right here, and there's also broken eggs. So I kind of like these green eggs right here. So let's place a couple of them down in here and kind of make it to where there's going to be spiders coming out of these. Let's make sure to also add a green glow to it. And we can even change the color. We already have green over here. So if we want, we can go with a different color. Let's maybe change it to purple, if everyone's okay with maybe like a purplish color. I'm going to drop the brightness down. Okay, and then I'm just going to put a bunch of these. Oopsie, there's still a gray. There's still a green. Oops, no, we want purple. Ah, there we go. Let's make it kind of big, and then there we go. Okay, we'll start with that for now. If this ends up not looking good, then we can change it to different colors. Just for now, I'm going to stick with this. And I'm going to put a bunch of eggs. Make sure that you put some in the FG in the background behind some stuff, and also some in the front. And remember to do that trick, okay, of making them lighter and darker. Let's just put a bunch first in each section around here. So each one, we'll add in a bunch. Let's put in a smaller one over here too, and then add another smaller one right here. Okay, and now we want to put some, let's just select all of these monster eggs and put them, drop the brightness so they're in the background, and then we'll do it again with a little bit more brightness. Let's boost them up a little bit more and make sure they're set to the right layer so they're up above. So one right here, and then add in a smaller one right here. Just make sure to remember to do that whole monotony of size thing. Oopsie. Also have it set to random rotate, because I noticed that they're all kind of facing the same direction, and I don't really kind of want that. So let me make sure you change that up. Okay, let's select this one. And then again, make sure to put some small ones in. Cluster 3 together like this, because spiders have a lot of young. So expect like little clusters of eggs everywhere. Okay, let's go with a medium size, bring it down a size, and then go with something super small like this. Okay, looks good, looks good. Right, yeah, I'm digging it. This looks good so far. Add another one over here, add a big one over here. Okay, and then we'll be sure to add more spider web too, because there's a lot going on here, a lot of spiders, so we got to add a lot of webbing. And so I'm just going to have make sure that a lot of the web is just attached to these spikes. That will help. Let's just go with this one like this. Ooh, you know, this one might work. Just have it against the wall. Have one going against here like this. You can even have another one going like this. Okay, have some attached here. Let's see here. Just keep adding more and more cobweb, spider web really, not cobweb. Let's add another one right here. Let's go big, all the way across like this, and it's attached to that. There we go, looks good. And even add maybe a big one in the background, like that. Let's bring this, push this one all the way to the background. And let's also do some fun stuff. Let's just resize it so where it takes up the majority of the background. So I go like this, drop it down, and that way you have some nice cobweb. Just make sure it doesn't go too far off the background. And I'm also going to drop the opacity just a little bit, because this is a really busy, and so we don't want it to be too busy. Let's also switch over. I'm going to unlock everything, grab this mist, and place it again right here. Only this time we're going to switch it to purple. So if I go switch it over to purple, then you have this nice purple color going on here. Let's also change it, the blend mode. We can go to normal, darken, multiply. Let's just go over our options. Ooh, that is spooky right there. Ooh, yeah, that's spooky spooks. Okay, let's change it up. Keep going, lighten. It's all part of the adventure, picking the right blend mode. Tell you right now. Whoa, whoa, oh, that is trippy right there. Ooh, that's crazy. Hue, saturation, color, luminosity. I'm not sure what the best blend mode is to use here. I kind of like color, but it's really too much, so maybe just drop the opacity down. And then also add in some light sources, I think would work. And I'm going to use this one. Make sure it's set to 5, and then we're going to change that hue to purple. Let's go with that color, and then I'm going to scale them down real small, and then just put them where the crystals are, or where the eggs are at. Just drop the opacity to where it's not too bright. Okay, add another one right here, another one right here, and another one should be, well, I think just those 3 spots look good. Okay, we're at 90 changes. Let's just save. Okay, we're almost done. I don't know. I don't normally add in like monsters or creatures to it, but we could add in a monster just for fun. Should we make the boss, or should we just leave it as is? What do you guys think? What looks better, adding in the boss, or just using the imagination for that? I'm gonna quickly read some stuff I've missed. I don't get to do this too often. I will take as much as I can get. Awesome. Edward, you can add a spider inside by putting at a lower opacity, giving it a creepy feeling like they could hatch at any moment. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love this. This looks good. Why don't we add in some blood real quick? I think blood might be good, and there's some great blood ones. These ones work okay. Let's end up using these ones. I'm going to use these ones, and the reason why I'm going to use them is because I just like the color so much, but I'm also going to change the blend mode to something different. So let's just kind of go over our options. Ooh, I like that. That just makes it all the more freakier. Let's drop the opacity down. Let's make it a little bit smaller. Add in some blood there, and then maybe add in some more over here as well. Let's do a curved effect here. Curve it, let's say right here, some blood there, and then Let's add some blood also on the edge of this thing because it collapsed. Maybe some people have died there. So let's do that as well. Okay, I think that looks good. You know, you just got to add a little bit of blood, right? Just to kind of give it a little bit more of a freaky feeling. Okay. All right. I don't know if I'm going to make a boss or not. I could. So, but this room is definitely lacking, and I feel like it needs something else. It needs some more going on. Let's add in some more cobwebs. Now that we've had some platforms, we can add in, obviously, more cobweb, which is kind of nice. So we can add that in like this, and we can even put in like a full-on cobweb up there. Let's just go through our options here. Let's see here. Yeah, you can even have one going against this one, I think. Should be okay. Let's just check. Maybe connect against the spike like this. Not sure. No, that doesn't look good. Okay. We're almost there. We need to do some silhouette stuff. Maybe we can add in some of these just to kind of spice it up a bit more. We'll copy and paste just a couple of these just to give it a little bit more depth. Let's flip and rotate this one. Okay. Yes, much better adding that in. That helped. Yeah, much better. Already much happier with that. Yep, that looks good. Let's continue on figuring out this thing. One thing that could be nice is we could add like a giant egg, like a super massive one maybe, that's just hanging out. We could try that. Let's just put it down all the way to the lowest layer. And the only issue I have is that the line art is just so thick. So that's kind of an issue. Let's try some things to maybe fix that could add in a black object shadow maybe to kind of blur that out a little bit more. You could do that. So let's set the blur out. And so there's that. You can also, oopsie, I forgot to lock the walls. So let's lock that up again. And then also lock that mist because it's going to be in the way. So you got this really giant like egg right here. That could work. You could also bring down the contrast to kind of remove some of the dark line if you wanted to. That might not look good. You can add all kinds of things. This is giant egg right here like this. And then you can cover it with all kinds of other things to make it look good by adding in, oh shoot, you could take, let me look up cloud real quick. So the big issue that kind of occurs when you're dealing with a line art problem like this is you have to try to hide it a bit. So let's go to maybe a cloud option here, and then maybe we can do some things to try to, maybe even adding in some mist might not be a bad idea. We could try that too. Let's just bring down opacity here. Okay, shoot. You know, I think I am just gonna have that contrast and I'm okay with that. Let's just get back to that cloud. Okay, like this. I think some mist really, really helps. You could flatten it and then paint BG over it to cut the black lines down. Absolutely. That's absolutely a way to do it. I'm cheating though, because I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna find other ways. But I absolutely do. You could absolutely do that. That's a great idea, actually. So I totally recommend that kind of stuff. I'm gonna also just make sure to cover this in as much cobweb as possible, and then we'll move on to the other bits. So just kind of cover this thing in cobweb. That will also help to remove some of it. Let's do that, and then we'll also do some other tricks. I don't really want to do any flattening because if someone clones my map, then they have to like redo that. So I'm trying to be nice to people who like to clone and edit my map, and that way they don't have to deal with that. So I'm going to quickly just add just a ton of cobwebs in here. Doesn't really matter if they match or not. Don't worry about it. There we go, some cobweb in there. And then also I'm going to change up that cloud to something else. If I can get it to work, cloud, come on. Okay, and then I'm going to change the object to purple again. Okay, and then we're going to change that blend mode yet again. Let's make sure the cloud is set to layer. Right there should be okay. All right, and then we're going to change that blend mode again. And already, like, so much of the egg dark lines kind of go away on the outside, but obviously on the inside it's still there. So man, that can be very difficult to deal with. So let's just kind of go through the various blend modes and see what kind of works and what doesn't. Let's go with just bringing the brightness all the way down to black, and we'll leave the purple shadow on it, and that way it will kind of bring, let me make sure that it's kind of in front of, let me boost it up a bit more. Let's also add another one in the front, the black, oopsie, a cloud. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to hide some of that line work in the front right here by just adding a black kind of shadow there. Let's make sure that it's set to full 100% kind of black. Okay, like this. And then I'm going to drop the opacity just a little bit. Okay. Let's take a look. See how that looks so far. So far okay in my opinion, not the best. So it's my first time kind of making a giant egg. I'm also going to add in some purple phthalites because I think that might look good. This one might look good. Let's just add it, just see how it looks first. Yeah, I think that's okay. There we go. Giant egg. And I might even change the color of the egg as well so that it looks a bit different than just the whole purple. So let's go egg, type in that egg, find in the large one, this one right here, and we can go through, we could also change blend modes too if you really wanted to see what our options are. So maybe the blend mode can kind of get rid of some of those darker lines. Let's just see if maybe it can work. I don't know. Let's give it a shot and see how it goes. Doesn't look like it, but I do want to change that color regardless. Let's boost that saturation all the way up, and let's just change the color. Maybe, okay, maybe blue would look better. I'm not sure. Anyone's got suggestions, let me know. Wife aggro over 9,000. Enjoy the rest of the map. Thank you, Renly. Okay, I think the blue's okay. Should we switch it over? Do you like that color or pick a different one? Honestly, I think it's okay. You can still kind of see the line work, but at least it kind of matches with the blue here and a little bit of the blue here. Rotate that egg. Go this way, maybe? I think this way looks kind of nice. Okay. All right. If anyone has any suggestions, please let me know. Okay, I think I'm going to add some roots too, because the roots do look nice. So let's add in some roots. And we're going to add in a couple. We're kind of running short on time, so let's just quickly add in the last bit, the last pieces of this. Real quick by just adding in some roots and then changing the brightness and removing those object shadows. So select all these roots. Gotta get to your roots. Shoot. There we go. No. There we go. Select these two roots. The brightness is down. That's fine. Turn the object shadow. You know, I don't really care much for that root right there. It doesn't look good against that. So let's put it over here instead, maybe right up here. Should look good. Move it this way. Okay, got some roots. That looks nice. We have room, this negative space. Let's also add in some sparks too, just to give a little bit more oomph to it. Let's go with this one and then place it. Let's go with this one. And then we're also going to also change up. Let's move it this way and put it in right about there and drop the opacity just a hair. There we go. And that will add a little bit of white. We're doing that contrast, the light against the dark. So it looks a little kind of spacey, like it's a space alien spider. All right. Okay, we're almost done. Let's kind of add in some last bit of traps and stuff, and then we'll call it good. Unless other people have other ideas. Honestly, I just think just adding in the last bit of traps and details and we should be done. Let's add in some spikes here. Maybe have some spikes on these. One here and one right here. And you know, it's always fun to put some spikes too on your, just put a couple on your platforms just to be a jerk, you know? Just be a little mean, you know, it's okay. Let's add just a couple spikes on some platforms, maybe one on top of here too, just to be mean. Okay, so far so good. And I think I'm also going to use that cracked ground texture on here as well, because it might look fairly good. Let's just do that, add in some cracked ground. Okay. Just to add in that last bit of those white highlights on the cracked ground. Get some in here too, right in here. There we go. And then right up here. Okay, let's take a zoom out and take a look. Yep, I think that turned out okay. That looks all right. The last thing to do is just to make sure that you add ambient occlusion around your cliffs. That's really the last bit. Just make sure you have a dark shadow so that it looks like these pop out more. So I would just add in like a dark shadow that goes along this so that these pop out, and you'll see it right away when I start adding that shadow, that these start popping out, just like you do with your battle maps. You add a little bit of ambient occlusion along the edge of that wall so that it pops out. And since it's set to the FG layer, you won't accidentally go over here, and it doesn't matter because it's black anyway. Okay, so adding a little bit of ambient occlusion is really going to help to make things pop out. Let's just keep adding a little bit of shadow along here. Make sure you do it all along your wall on the interior. Okay, that way you have that nice pop to your walls. And all the way around like this, keep going. All right. And we are almost done. Thank you everyone for your patience, appreciate it. We're gonna put them even along here as well. Okay. Well, no, let's not add them right there. Let's not do that. Let's just keep along the wall here for now. Nice. Ooh, yeah, really helping to make it pop. I love that. Okay, there we go. All right, and also we can add in a blue light fog or add in a larger light source. So let's go with this one, go back to, just make sure the color's normal. Let's make it really big. And that way we have like this nice bright yellowish kind of color right here that kind of helps to make it pop out more, and even that light is affecting some of the crystals, and I like that. So it looks pretty good. 152 changes, make sure we save. We'll put some kind of name in red or something in the center black spot. Something in red? Kind of a name in red. What do you mean name in red, Jeremy? I don't think I understand. Auto filters. Yes, we're going to do that in just a few seconds. So I think we're pretty much done with this dungeon. I guess we could add just a couple more silhouette stuff to kind of just give it a little bit more oomph to it, because there's some spots over here that could use it, I think. And then like right here, and then let me take a look. Let me see what other spots could use that. And I honestly do not like these ones. I don't think these worked out really well. So instead I'm going to be using these ones. Just unfortunately they just didn't turn out the way I kind of hoped it would. So let's just rotate these, add in a couple of this, like this, okay. And I'm gonna rotate it that way. So it's kind of going that way a bit. There we go. I think this is it. We just need to add filters. So let's add filters. There's some filters that I always like to use, warm, cool. And warm, cool kind of brings on that, kind of blends in all of it together. The only issue you might encounter is this. You'll notice that the black is removed. You can kind of see the black silhouette stamp. So it's got to be really careful when you're adding a filter to it so that that black doesn't go away. Okay, so you have to think about that. I'm gonna drop it down to where I can't see these anymore. So you see like this. Oh wait, is there a texture there? Oh, I know what it is. It's that mist. That mist is the problem. Okay, let me go back up to 100% and let me just hit up that mist and fix that problem. Because that, or maybe it's a cloud, let me check. I don't want the cloud going off into, is this the right one? Let me check. Is this the right one? Why isn't it showing up? That's weird. Ah, there it is, cloud. Okay, I'm gonna move this up, get this away. Now, is that hidden back? Yeah, there we go. Just wanna make sure that that works out well. Okay, did I delete anything? No, I think it looks pretty much okay right there. And purple filter works great. That with the cool one filter works good. The water room is my favorite. Yeah, I love this room. Yeah, we don't know what that water is. Don't touch it. Okay, warm, cool. You know, corrupted essence might look cool. Yeah, hey, I kind of like that corrupted essence. That really, ooh, yeah, that's spooky. And then the last thing I like to use, of course, is I love to use a clarity filter so that things kind of pop out a little bit. So let's just add in a little bit of clarity. There we go, I like that. And the last one I think you could add is probably a texture from parchment. So just click a new, just click texture, new texture filter, click the catalog, and click parchment. And then this one right here will pop up, old paper. And overlay is the one I like to use. And it's just gonna add a little extra kind of texture. And if it kind of blocks things out, then you can change it to where you can bring it down to like layer 0, and it will not affect your stamps because they're a layer above. So just drop this, so it adds, what this is doing is just adding some extra texture. Let's just bring it up a little bit more. It's adding a little bit more texture to your wall. Okay, that's all that's doing, just adding a little bit of texture. But I think that's pretty much it. I mean, I like the way that it went. Probably could have put something up here, but this is a nice entrance. You're walking down, you jump, try to avoid this stuff, these spikes, slime it, get a chest for your reward. Maybe jump, as you're jumping, you have to shoot down, blow up these barrels, land in the water. Maybe there's like a damage to the water, so you can't be in it for too long. So get out of there, jump over here, avoid the buzzsaw, and then go into this boss level, and you're gonna have to deal with a giant spider, you're gonna have to deal with minions, you know, all your favorite stuff, you know, just all your favorite stuff. Okay, I'm just gonna quickly add in the last bit here. There we go. Just want to make sure that these pop out good. I'm gonna save and then call it good. Anyone have any questions or anything? Let me quickly turn off my recording, and then people can chat if they want. And I'll just chat for like 5-10 minutes, answer any questions. 1 second, let me turn off my recording.